Cheryl. Welcome, everybody. My name is Catherine Good. As Cheryl said, I am Associate Professor of Psychology at Baruch College and also at the Graduate Center, and I am the training area head for the Basic and Applied Social Psychology program. I'm going to share my screen now, and I'm going to go through some slides very quickly just to give you an overview of our program, give you some information about the path to the degree, and information about what it's like to live and work at CUNY as a graduate student. So I'm going to share my screen. Can everybody see the presentation? Yes? Awesome.
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can see.
Thank you. All right. So this is just a few photos of our lovely group at various events. Again, we are the Basic and Applied Social Psychology program at the Graduate Center, which is the doctoral granting institution of the City University of New York. So our mission at BASP is to train our students in the theories, principles, and research methods that are relevant to the conduct of social psychological research. The primary goal of our training program is to produce rigorous, competent, and creative researchers who are well-versed in the traditional canon of social psychology, but who can also apply this knowledge to engage with innovative questions and pursuits. So I just want to highlight a few components of this mission statement, because it really does reflect who we are as BASP. One, we really want you to become competent in the rigor of social psychology, but we also want to help you develop your creativity as a scientist. And very often, many of our labs, the work that we do is very public facing in that it is used to move forward and solve problems of our world. Our training model is what we refer to as an apprenticeship model. So when you are admitted to the program, you are admitted with both a primary and a secondary advisor. Unlike some other programs that you might see, you don't get admitted to one person's lab and that you are that person's student for your entire time. We really do see this as your opportunity to learn, really as an apprentice of multiple advisors, so that you have multiple systems of support as you make your way through your graduate program. We see our students as our junior colleagues. We learn as much as from you as you are going to be learning from us, and we really want to work together in that collegial way to advance our science. We also have a very strong emphasis on professional development. As you'll see as I go through the requirements of the degree, we are going to be asking you to do things that you would be doing as a professional in the field. We don't want to waste your time, just regurgitating knowledge to pass a 3-hour exam per se, because that's not what we as professionals do. So many of your benchmarks and milestones that you're going to be asked to meet are going to align with the types of professional skills that you would want to have as a social psychologist. All right, so our curriculum. The program is a 60-credit program, and I'm going to talk you through what those credits entail. We have our foundational courses, Social Psychology 1 and 2. We call it 1 and 2 simply because we've split it into content areas. It's not that Social Psych 2 is more advanced than Social Psych 1. That's just how we've named it. You will attend our BASP colloquium for 6 semesters for your first 3 years. Every semester you'll come, but you'll get credit for that attendance. The colloquium is where we as a community come together. We have outside speakers, students give presentations, faculty give presentations, professional development topics might be available. For example, one of our graduate students gave a couple of sessions on how to use R. And so you get credit. Part of your 60-credit program will be attendance to our BASP colloquium. We will ask you to take 3 core electives within the BASP program that are taught by our own BASP faculty. You'll then have the opportunity to take 2 breadth electives. This is where we are going to ask you to take some courses outside of social psychology, so you have a breadth of knowledge to bring to bear to your own research. And then 2 general electives that could be really anything that you want it to be, anything at all. Doesn't even have to be psychology. Methods and research courses. You're going to take a research design and methods course, 2 stats classes, stats 1 and 2, directed and independent research, and then an advanced stats methods course. The directed and independent research, I want to just linger here for half a second. This is really your opportunity to get credit for the work that you're going to be doing with your advisors in their labs anyways. So the first 3 credits that you would get are really more about maybe collaborative research that you're doing with your advisor within your first year or 2. And then the independent research component is, once you become a bit more advanced and you move into more independent research within that advisor's lab, you'll get credit for that as well. So we've set up courses to allow you to get course credit for the types of activities that you would be doing anyhow as a graduate student. And then finally, we have some professional development courses that we would like you to take. One is the teaching of psychology, where you will learn more about approaches to pedagogy within the psychological sciences, an ethics course, and also a professional development course. The professional development course, I think, is fantastic because this is where you get to really learn how to write a CV, how to give a job talk, how to summarize your research within 2 minutes. When somebody you meet at a conference says, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, tell me about your research." How to pursue academic and non-academic jobs, really anything you can think of that is going to help you be more successful as a professional, that lives in our professional development course. So that's really an overview of the 60 credit program. We have additional milestones that we're going to ask you to meet. The first is your first doctoral examination. And this is really synonymous with what would maybe be called like a master's thesis. We would ask you to jump into research right away within your first year. The doctoral exam consists of a research project proposal where you and your advisor would come together and agree on what the topic is going to look like. You would do the project, write a manuscript about the project, and then give an oral presentation to the BASP community within our colloquium. And that composes your first doctoral examination. And the timing of that is usually within your first 2 years. The second doctoral examination, if you are looking at other universities for your graduate degree, what you may notice is this is where you sit for like a 3 or 6 hour exam, and you have to essentially write everything you've learned on various topics within social psychology. Every faculty member at BASP will tell you that we never do that as a professional, so we don't really want to make you have to do that either. So your second doctoral exam is going to be more aligned with what you would be doing as an advanced graduate student or as an early career scientist. And that is to write a psych bulletin type paper or a PSPR type paper where you are really summarizing the status of a field, or to write a full-scale National Science Foundation or National Institute of Health style grant proposal. Both of these types of activities are things that we as professionals do, and we want to give you not only the practice doing that, but also the opportunity to jump into this kind of work because it really can help you hone your own research ideas and very often set like a path for an entire research program, program of research that you might pursue over many years. And then finally, there is the comprehensive doctoral activities where you would be submitting a first authored manuscript. You don't have to have this accepted, but we would ask you to submit your first authored manuscript. You would present a poster at a conference and attend at least 2 professional conferences. I said finally, but I don't really mean that. Now finally comes the dissertation. The dissertation again is going to be an independent project that you design, you develop, and you collect data and write your paper on, and then again defend it at the end of your time of graduate study. So that is what the curriculum looks like. That's the path to the degree, and these are the major milestones that we're going to ask you to meet. Okay, so you might be wondering, how does BASP fit into the Graduate Center, because the Graduate Center is a very large organization and it might be confusing if you're just getting your information from the website. So the Graduate Center is the doctoral granting institution of CUNY for any doctoral degree that you might pursue, including psychology. All of the faculty in BASP have 2 appointments. One appointment is at your CUNY college. This is where we do our undergraduate and master's teaching. So for example, my primary appointment is at Baruch College, but I also have an appointment at the Graduate Center within the BASP training area. Some of our faculty have multiple appointments within the Graduate Center. So for example, Cheryl is both within BASP and also in health psychology. And many faculty are, have positions in more than one of the graduate programs. The psychology department within the Graduate Center has 10 programs or training areas, and BASP is just one of those 10. So you can really think of it as CUNY, then the Graduate Center, the psychology department, and then within the psychology department, there are 10 different training areas, and you would be applying to the psychology department, but for BASP in particular for your admissions. The psychology department is organized in a particular way. They have an executive officer who sort of oversees all of our 10 training areas. Each training area has a training area head. That's what I do for BASP. And students receive their degree from the department. So they're going to get a degree from the psychology department, but you have to meet all the specific curricular requirements of your particular program. So each of the different 10 training areas may have their own curriculum, they may have their own milestones, they may have their own way that they want those first docs and second docs to be met. And as a BASP student, you would be required to meet the requirements of the BASP program. The nice thing about this sort of complicated structure is that students have access to all of the faculty, classes, resources throughout the entire psychology department, and in fact, across the entire Graduate Center. In addition, we have a relationship with the Psych and Law program. That's one of the training areas within psychology. So if you were interested, you can have a dual specialization with BASP and Psych and Law. And if that's something that you're curious about, I would encourage you to ask either us at the Q&A session or one of the students in the breakout rooms. Okay, so BASP PhD students are Graduate Center students. That's clear. Most of the doctoral classes that you will attend will be held at the Graduate Center rather than at the CUNY campuses like Baruch or Hunter or Brooklyn College or Queens College. All of the administrative functions are going to be at the Graduate Center, so I encourage you to get to know the Graduate Center well. All of our colloquia and other meetings that we will have as a BASP community will be held at the Graduate Center. So BASP really is, the people are spread across all of CUNY. So as a student, you are going to adopt a home campus. That home campus is most likely going to be where your primary and or secondary advisors work. So if you work in a lab with me, then your home campus would be Baruch. That's where you would be spending a lot of your time because that's where my lab is. But again, you would also be at the Graduate Center because that's where many of your courses are. BASP students will be asked as part of their funding package to teach either as a teaching assistant or as an instructor of record on those college campuses. And we try our best to give you your choice of which campus you want to do your teaching at. Most students choose to teach at the campus that is their home campus, so that it minimizes travel a bit. Okay, so if you're not familiar with New York, you might be wondering, well, where am I going to live? Where am I going to work? Where am I going to play? So this is a map of New York City. The Graduate Center is right there on that little arrow. It's at 35th and 5th Avenue, and that's where you'll be spending a lot of your time. It's very centrally located. City College is up north. Hunter College is over on the east side, right off the corner of Central Park. John Jay College is on the west side, on the other corner from Central Park. Baruch College is just a bit farther down, maybe a 15-minute walk from the Graduate Center. Queens College is out in Queens, and Brooklyn College is down in Brooklyn. So these are where the home campuses are. I just want to show you that in relation to where the Graduate Center is. And then also there's the College of Staten Island. These little circles and ovals that I've created here are where many of our students choose to live. And when you get admitted to the program, it will be important to establish residency within New York so that you can get in-state, you'll qualify for in-state tuition. And these are some of the neighborhoods that many of our students have chosen to call home. Again, I would encourage you to talk to many of the students in the breakout rooms and ask them what they like about where they live, how they chose where they wanted to live. Did they choose it because of the characteristics of the neighborhood, or maybe because it was closer to one of their home campuses that they would be spending more time at? What about funding? This is a big question that most students have. Like, how am I going to fund my time at the Graduate Center? All students, when they are admitted to the BASP program, receive full tuition benefits for 5 years. The caveat here is that you will need to establish New York State residency within your first year, so that that 5-year tuition fellowship that you get will cover that in-state tuition portion. So please make sure that you do establish that in-state tuition status. You will be eligible for the New York State Health Insurance Program, which is offered at a relatively small cost. I think it's something like $25 or $27 a month. And you will receive an academic year stipend. Additional benefits may include summer stipends or grant-funded work, depending on the projects that you're working on, the faculty that you might be working with. You can earn extra money in this way. There's often funding to attend SPSP, perhaps in your 3rd or 4th year. The Graduate Center offers what they call their doctoral research grants, which you can apply for. And there are other GC grants for conference presentations. There are various mechanisms within CUNY to help fund your work. And again, I encourage you to talk to some of the students about what some of those opportunities are. All of our funding packages do require teaching, usually in the 2nd through 4th years, and a commitment to a research lab. So your time is really going to be spent between attending your classes, meeting your teaching requirements, and doing your research within your lab. This commitment to the research lab, again, because we see this as a more of a junior colleague kind of situation, we're going to be working together on work that's going to both advance maybe your advisor's program of work, but also to help develop you into your own independent researcher. So what makes BASP unique compared to other programs that are out there? We are a very young program. Cheryl, Justin, and I, and others who are current members of BASP came together, gosh, maybe about 10 years ago. So we really are relatively young compared to many programs, because we wanted to build a doctoral program that reflected the kind of doctoral program we wish we could have attended when we were doctoral students, that we would want to be a part of. So when we say that we're unique, we really mean it, because we were the ones to build the exact program that you will now be applying for. One, we are very theory-driven. We have theory-driven scholarship. We want to help you learn how to do science the right way. We have a strong focus on quantitative statistics so that you will receive a solid foundation in statistics, quantitative stats. You have many opportunities to expand and learn about other methods. And there is both a quantitative certificate that you can earn, as well as a qualitative certificate that you can choose to do. We can answer questions about how that works, but we have set up our electives so that if you choose to pursue either the qualitative or the quantitative certificate, you essentially would be taking extra statistics courses that would serve as your elective courses within BASP. We believe that we have developed a very supportive and inclusive community of scholars. I can say this with complete honesty and forthrightness that I love my colleagues. I love our students in our program. I think we really do have a unique community and culture that we've built that is really around support for one another and cheering each other's successes. There is a breadth of resources across the CUNY campuses. It can sometimes feel overwhelming because it is such a large organization, but the benefit of that is that you have a lot of resources that you can draw from to enhance your particular path that you choose to pursue. We focus on applied work and engaging with the community around us, and we really do mean that. So, for example, a lot of my work that I do focuses on achievement issues for students, particularly in STEM. And so I do a lot of work with school districts around the area. I do a lot of work with academic departments across the country, because we don't want our work to just live in the journals. We really want it to be something that's useful for our society at large. So many of us are engaging in basic science research within the lab, but also community-based research in the broader community around us. And finally, we have a strong commitment to social justice. You can see this in maybe the very explicit research topics that many of us pursue. But if you dig a little deeper, maybe you're looking at somebody's lab and it might not align so much with social justice per se, but you can see how that work could be applied to social justice issues, broadly speaking. So we think of and really value social psychology as a tool to helping solve the world's problems around us. And if you've been paying attention at all, you know that our world has a lot of problems that need solutions, and we believe that social psychology can provide those solutions. So that's all I have for you. We'll open it up now for questions, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen.